Last month or so, there's been a lot of talk about lighting and airbrushing and filters, and I think this was started by Wayne Goss. About he was very angry that some women were using filters that makes them look absolutely porcelain. I did kind of chuckle at that a little bit, just because at my age I can absolutely imagine, like, if I bought one of those filters and then suddenly one day, hi everybody, I'm so happy to come talk to you. Oh, okay, or maybe that's just funny to me. Everybody, I'm so happy to come talk to you today. How you doing today? Tonight I'm going to a poetry reading, and I haven't been to a poetry reading never, so I don't know what to expect, but I'm kind of excited. And I guess it's kind of like, people get up and they read a couple of their own poems, and so I'm kind of excited to do that. And I have no idea what kind of folks will be there, what kind of guys you meet at a poetry reading, but it should be interesting. Today I wanted to talk real quick about the changes that I've had to make in my appearance since I got into my 60s, and I thought some of the changes that I made you might relate to, and you might enjoy hearing about them. So you want to do that today? Okay, let's do that today. The first change I had to make is primer. I never used primer in my whole life until I got into my 60s. So, and I'm not even so sure it matters what primer you use, but I make sure that I always use a primer. It makes my skin look so much better. It makes my pores look smaller, and it makes my makeup last longer. So I wouldn't be without it. There's a couple different kinds that I like. I like Smashbox, and I have been using the dupe for Smashbox. I've been using the Monostat chafing gel, and a little bit goes a long way, but it feels and acts exactly like Smashbox. Only I think this cost me $4, and my friend subscriber Lori was the one who told me to go get this because I love Smashbox primer so much, so I did. But yeah, that's a huge difference, and it makes, I don't know, I just look better. My skin looks better, so I wouldn't be without a primer. The second thing that I had to change was my brows. I think I felt as I got older, my face was becoming a little bit more square and a little bit more masculine, so I started to get almost afraid of my brows being too big, the Joan Crawford look. So I started to really pluck my brow. I pluck my brows almost every day. I don't have super thin brows, but the only reason I don't have super thin brows is because whenever I read tips on what to do and not to do, they say don't have your eyebrows too thin when you're older. So I try to have this happy medium of not too thin, not too thick. But the one thing I really have stopped doing is that I used to really define my brows and really color them in so they would have a very opaque kind of look. And I've stopped doing that. I almost pretend that, I want to shape my brows. And I know, you know, I don't always get them right like today, but I don't want to draw attention to my brows anymore. So I want my brows defined, but I don't want them to be the focal point of my face. So I don't define them like I would when I was a young girl. So I think if you really think back on, you know, when we were kids, and if you remember maybe some of the older ladies at church, they had a lot of jewelry on and they had the thick brows. That's what I am really trying to stay away from. Well, I'm too poor for the jewelry, and I think I'm coming into the thin brows all on my own. So that's the second thing. The third change that I have made recently is the way that I wear my foundation. And it doesn't matter actually what foundation I'm using. Because my skin is better now, because I use a primer, it opens the door for me to use a lot more foundations with success. But the one thing that I do is no matter what foundation that I use, I do take a full coverage foundation, and the one I've been using is the L'Oreal Total Cover, and I use that, the makeup is 2 shades darker than my normal tone, and I only put it on my cheeks, but that helps me get that more even tone. It helps me get that more youthful, there's no breaks in the cheeks, you know what I mean? The pores look smaller, and it just looks more even, and the way the light hits it is much more attractive. So I do only use the full coverage makeup in my cheek area, not really even in my T-zone area, but just my cheek area. It's almost like I'm putting the full coverage foundation on my cheeks like a blush. And so I think I've had a lot of success with that, and I feel that I look better by doing that. So the next thing I had to change was my lipstick. I was always afraid of very bright lip colors, and so I kind of stayed away from them. And I know now, you know, it's very in to have understated eyes and red lips. So I'm going to try that more, and I do try always to use a brighter lipstick than I ever did before. I was so afraid of you know, the reds and the wine lipsticks, and I always had my little frosted pink lipstick, the same lipstick I wore, you know, in 1970. So now I really am trying to branch out, because I feel like the more color that I can put on my lips, the brighter my face is, and that makes me feel good. Another change I had to make was with my hair. I loved long hair. I still love long hair, and I'll never cut my hair. But I do wear my hair up a lot more often, and I do that for a couple different reasons. I feel that with my hair up, I do look a little bit more youthful. I feel that sometimes, you know, when I'm getting older, that things are starting to, I won't say the D word, droop, but I feel that as things are kind of settling, I want people's eye to go up. I want my hairdo to be a little bit higher, framing my face a little bit more attractively. I feel, sometimes I just feel so romantic and so young when I have my hair down. But when I look back at pictures or videos with my hair down, you know, I get a little concerned, because I think it draws attention to certain aspects of my face that I really don't want attention drawn to. And it's kind of basically, when your hair is very long, the first thing that you're going to do is take a look at the woman's bone structure, the cheekbones, the jawline. And as we get older, I think with my hair on top of my head, I think that it gives the illusion, perhaps, that my jawline is a little more defined, and that my cheekbones are a little bit higher. Now, I'm sure it's an optical illusion, but I like it. Plus, I feel with my hair up, I feel it does represent who I am as a person, and as much as my long hair does. I think one of the biggest changes that I had to make is eyeshadow. And actually, I mean, for the poetry reading tonight, I did put a little bit more shadow on than I normally do. But I have noticed lately that I haven't been using brushes to apply my eyeshadow at all. I went out and I got the Physicians Formula highlight bar. And this is really interesting because it has a row of dark and a row of highlight. And these, you can use these as a blush or you can use these as an eyeshadow. And the first time I used it as an eyeshadow, I thought, ooh, that's just too much. But after a while, it kind of grew on me. So, just with my finger, I was putting on some of my beautiful palettes. I have been going to certain colors in the palettes for my crease color. Just a little bit, just subtly. And for underneath my eyes, I was reading last night the top 5 tips for older women and their makeup. And one of the tips was stop using eyeshadow altogether in your 60s. And I just don't agree with that. I think that we can use shadow. I know I have, my eyes are swollen and I don't want to draw attention to the swollenness of my eyes, but I also want to give my eyes dimension where they are swollen. One inspiration that I get is when you go to a movie, the professional makeup artists in films have the actress look as natural as possible, so her makeup isn't something you'll see on the screen because the director wants you to hear her words. And so when you look at how they do eyeshadow in the movies, that's kind of my inspiration to have a very natural shadow look, something in the crease a little bit, a highlight, but just something as natural as possible. So people will sort of, your shadow won't arrive in the room before you do. People won't be staring at your eyeshadow. Hopefully they'll be staring at your face and listening to your words. So that's how I look at eyeshadow. Those are the changes that I made. Well, I went out on a blind date last week, and this Saturday night is going to be our second date. The only way I can really handle it is that he's just a man and I'm getting to know him. And there's no destination. We have no destination. Everybody is using that Tarte Shape Tape, and I was really wondering about that because for the last 3 months I've been using Eve Pearl concealer, her salmon concealer underneath my eyes. True Match under eye concealer, and I used to use it all the time, and people used to say, what do you use around your eyes? And I would say, oh, I use the True Match concealer, and they go, really? So I think it does the job. I like that though. It's so bright, but it blends in so nice. A couple weeks ago, I had a subscriber friend named Sharon. She goes by the AKA Mint. I'm sure a lot of you know her, but Mint, a couple weeks ago, she left a comment on one of my videos where I was talking about feeling sad and how I wish so much that sometimes we could give each other space to feel sad and to heal up. And she left a comment, and I wanted to read that comment that she left to you today. So she wrote, "Hi Susan, I think the globe is precious. I enjoyed this video as usual, but I wanted to write a little bit about being sad. I wanted to write a little bit about being melancholy. When I was 8 years old, I was afraid of wolves. They devoured little girls in fairy tales. I sat at the dinner table and I watched my parents so that I could be sure that they weren't wolves in human masks. My family has walked with wolves for generations. Lately, the psychiatrists tell us that the wolves are chemical imbalances. Melancholy is not a thing that I can fully overcome. Sadness is constant. I can't just put on a sunny face, but I can expose my soul to as much sunshine as possible. You are part of my sunshine, but my heart syncs up with melancholy, recognizing it deeply. Thank you for your balance. Congratulations on 2 years, Sharon. Thank you so much, Sharon, for leaving that comment and writing such amazing words. Thank you for your bravery for leaving that comment, and thank you for your bravery for allowing me to read it. So many of us here, words like that help us so much. It helped remind me that, life isn't just one thing. It's not all sad. It's not all happy. We have to be real. We have to, not be afraid of feeling sad or not be afraid of being afraid. That it's all part of life. And for many of us, life was very tough in the beginning. And even though, we have built wonderful, strong, happy lives, not every day, is a good day. But every day is an important day. And I always say that, and I always try to live that way. And I hope you have a wonderful brand new week. And when you're done with your brand new week, I hope you come back and see me in Cooper, okay? Okay. Melancholy is a constant, but there are days of great sunshine. We can grow old and we can be beautiful, and the very thing that people love about us the most is not our perfections, but our flaws. There are the days claimed by the wolves, and there are days that go on forever, skies and clouds, and all things good. Something to believe in. Something to believe in.